Last time on Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice.
You peek up real quick as this black shape descends from the clouds very quickly. It flies down and slams into the top of the feather next door to you. But after that pod slams into the top of the feather, there is a crash behind you and up. And you can see over the top of the building as well, coming down the side, there are 3 robots. It's a couple floors below you as it begins its descent, and your bullet hits it and it stops its beautiful sort of swan dive that it had created and begins to sort of flop and tumble in the air. And as it spins around once, you see a little crack in its chassis and you see that ignite with energy. There is an explosion in this stairwell, bigger than any I think we faced in this adventure so far. It's impactful. It rocks this staircase. Slippy, as you even dive through and the door is shutting, it blasts that panel clean off the wall and across the room. It rocks this whole place, and you can feel the building is beginning to kind of shake a little bit.
What's the situation? Over.
Well, some robots came and we killed one of them and the other one blew up.
What a coincidence. We also had robots.
Did one of them blow up catastrophically?
We killed 3 of them. I think we killed 3 of them. There were 3 and they're all dead. For now, we're all good. Blood's all good. So whenever you can bring BBW back over here, we have some dead robots that can be inspected.
It looks like this robot was specifically made to just kill Mr. Blood. There appears to be some sort of thing outside the planet. That's where it came from.
Well, that's definitely something that we can ask Mr. Blood about whenever we interrogate him.
They tell you that that information is coming from a ship in orbit. The ship in question has been approved by the planet as it is Mr. Blood's ship itself. And then you get an image into your mind of Carl, Mr. Blood, and Carissa walking out the door.
We all 3 look into the camera and we go, what?
And now we return to our adventure.
That's basically where we're picking up right at the start of that. Is Carl has just gotten into the Uber and it's just taken off. And we're at Cookie, Slippy, and BBW up in the room. The Midnight Bellhops definitely inform you that there is going to be an Uber waiting for you. You just have to get down there and take it.
Should we call Mr. Blood, or do you think we shouldn't?
He's right here. He can hear you. I have it on speaker.
Oh, Mr. Blood.
Yes?
Sorry, I hadn't said over yet. I was actually thinking over.
Okay, I'm sorry, over.
So, Mr. Blood, we had a couple of questions about some persons of interest, but we can't know if the car is secure. But do you have anybody that you could think of that would have a motive for coming after you like this?
Well, sure, son. There's a lot of people that are after my money. Lots of people want to get their hands on Blood's money, but no one's. I've had lots of attempts on my life, but no one's taken Mr. Blood's life today. I got you fine folks.
Any recently new enemies over?
Recently new enemies? I don't.
What about recently new allies over?
Recently new allies.
Suspicious relatives?
Well, I like to take care of all my folks. Lots of members of my family are with me on any given moment. Not directly with me. Mr. Blood looks over at you, Carl, and shakes his head. Not directly with me, but up on my ship.
You're related to Carl?
No.
Mr. Blood, would it surprise you to know that these assassin robots that continue to pester us come from your very own ship over?
I would say it definitely does surprise me that they're coming from my very own ship. That is bad news indeed. If you'll give me just a moment, Slippy, and you can hear over the comms, Carl, you can see directly in the cab with you. You guys are getting pretty close to the arena now, I would say.
Mr. Blood, we're on our way. Please don't get out of the car yet.
He's pulled out a communicator with his ship, but he puts his hand over, I guess, the comm part of it. He's like, well, we do got to get in so our friend Carl here can check out the our arrangements and make sure they're all safe.
We need somebody to guard you while that's happening.
Yeah, we can make the rounds a few times. We can go around the block while we wait for them to pull up.
Sure, we could take a few laps. We don't have too long, but I'm willing to take a few laps. And he knocks on the front window. And the window rolls down. He says, "Driver, would you mind circling the block a few times while we wait on the rest of my entourage? There's the word I was looking for.
Entendre.
While we wait on the rest of my entourage to pull up." And the driver nods and rolls up the window, and your car speeds past the arena and begins to circle the block.
We are on our way.
Sure, just make sure that you make it quick. And he pulls his hand off of the communicator. He brings up a communication line with his ship, and you hear
hello?
Over the communication, and he says, "Jenkins, would you mind giving the ship a thorough once-over with the security team in tow? Seems like we've got a rat aboard our midst. Someone's been launching some assassination attempts from our very ship at myself. If you wouldn't mind giving the ship a good clean once-over." And you hear Jenkins say,
"Well, yes, of course, sir. I'm truly sorry. We'll get right on that."
Mr. Blood hangs up the line. He says, "I've got my Mr. Slippy and crew. I've got my my right-hand man doing a search over on my ship. We'll find out who's at the bottom of this. But off the top of my head, I wouldn't quite know who it is. I trust everyone in my employ aboard my ship."
That means that we can't trust anyone that you trust, because clearly at least one of them you're wrong about, so...
Oh no, he trusts us, though.
Cancel out anyone, yeah. I think it's
I trust
Slippy.
you, though, Carl.
Well, lock me up, sir.
Well, fuck.
I did it.
Did I just hear BBW over the microphone there?
I was just wondering if we accidentally may have left those pots in your ship. I don't know.
Have you been aboard my my ship,
BBW, why would you say that?
BBW, just mic for a second. Did we do that?
No.
No. Oh,
Wait.
Did you do that?
Cookie the Cook here. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Who stands to gain if you are assassinated? Like, why are they after you here?
Yeah, obviously they don't just get your money if they kill you. That would be a wild system.
No, this is a fine point. There's not many cases in which my death might result in the exchange of my money. Oh, let's see. There could be life insurance policies, although I doubt my children are behind this. There is an extensively large bet on my own horse for this race, as well as one of my business competitors. She's in this race as well. She has an extensive amount to gain from defeating me in the horse race, but we've always had a pretty above-board rivalry. I don't know that she would go this low in order to assure her victory.
Yeah, she's probably never been on your ship before, huh?
Yes, and I don't particularly allow my business competitors aboard my own home base.
That's probably a good policy.
Just,
I'd like to think so.
Killer robots.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just saying, now's not the time to toot your own horn, dude.
That's a very good point. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Keep him in line, Carl.
Is assassinating her first an option?
I'm not one to just lash out at a possible suspect. If we can get absolute proof on her, I might be able to get behind launching an attack. But again, we're just asking for suspects. I'm not I'm definitely not sending my goon
I think
squad
this
out
definitely
to.
sounds like our best option, honestly.
Hmm.
Is to just find and kill this lady before any more robots show up.
Oh, sure,
Side
sure,
quest,
yeah,
side
but
quest.
again, I'm not gonna get quite behind that until we have any sort of proof of her guiltiness. I couldn't think of the right word there.
All right, we're
Okay,
here.
we'll put it off until we find that proof, but we will find that
Slippy,
proof.
real quick before we hop out of the car.
I don't think we're actually here.
You're in the car behind us.
I don't know.
but
This whole
we went around the
city
block for you to
is a
catch up.
huge maze to me. I'm fully lost. But
Are you driving?
would you be able to use your skills to? Are we being followed? We've been followed a lot.
That's a good point. I've got a bad feeling about this. But not that bad of a feeling.
Not that bad of a feeling is perfect because you don't
Great.
see you look around
I don't see
behind
any-
you and yeah, you don't really see any specific cars behind you.
Slippy looks up from his space phone and he sort of takes a quick look from left to right and he says, "No, I don't think so."
Right back to space Twitter.
And Mr. Blood says, I do appreciate, Carl, you guys have gone the block a few times at this point. And he says, I do appreciate the thorough once over, but we do gots to get in there and check out our box. You folks close behind, and Slippy, BBW, Cookie, you guys are all, you guys are about halfway there. They've been circling the block, much closer than you were when you started this conversation, I guess.
So Slippy turns off his walkie-talkie and he says to BBW Cookie, "All right, so as much as I would hate to suspect, just kidding, I absolutely suspect Carissa. We need to figure out a plan to get inside of her bag. This isn't the first time that I've had to get inside of Carissa's bag, but this is a much more complicated situation, surprisingly."
Wow, I didn't know you could fit inside there. You really gotta show me how to do that. But
Can we just
Bigger on the
take it?
inside.
I mean, but what if we're wrong?
I mean, if we're wrong, we're just inside her
and we
in the
give
bag.
it back and we say we're sorry.
And we just killed the lady.
That hasn't gone very well for me in the past, Cookie.
One of you three talking about this bag give me, or all three of you even, give me a spout lore on this situation, putting some of these facts together about Carissa. We got a 9
I
from
got a
Slippy,
6.
a 6 from Cookie,
Cookie marks experience.
11.
and an 11
Oh
from
yeah, make sure you
BBW.
mark your experience, Cookie.
The three of you are going over what details you've seen or know about Carissa using Slippy's incredible experiences with her to
And none of them make you feel good.
yeah, none of them are tainted by emotion at all. They're all cold, clean, what happens.
They're all
and
objective facts, but they make you feel bad.
yeah, that's exactly how Slippy speaks. And BBW, you seem to recall that every single time that you've been with Carissa, I'll say that with you mentioning some of these times, Cookie and Slippy are able to put together the other times, and that in pretty much every time you guys have been with Carissa, there has been, every time you've been with Mr. Blood, you've been with Carissa, but there's been an attack, right? You were attacked at the casino. You were attacked in the car. You were attacked at the breakfast spot. At the casino, Cookie and Slippy remember her digging through her bag at some point right before the attack. The bookshelf opened and then the attack started almost like it was set up. Right? Then you guys
right
got
where we were.
down to the car and Cookie remembers her digging through her purse at some point. She pulled out like a stick of gum or a makeup brush and applied the makeup afterwards, and it didn't seem like anything after that, but the car caught up to you pretty quickly after that, and all of a sudden there was a big car shootout at the breakfast spot, BBW. You remember her very clearly, like tapping into her purse on something. Not that, again, she came out, we'll say, with like a little handkerchief to like dab her mouth or something. So easily passed off, but at all these moments she's been dabbling in her purse or bag that she's been carrying with her. and Mr. Blood says to you, Carl, I think it's about time. And he knocks on the window and he says, I think it's about time we get into the into my box. If you don't mind pulling over to the front, I think my security officer here needs to give the room a once over. And the driver nods and the car pulls right up to the front. You guys are about 3/4-ish of the way there. Carl, as you folks pull up, the Penguin Man, the security officer who is in charge of the security here at the arena, comes out of the front of the arena with an entourage of guards.
My favorite character.
Yes, Lawrence's favorite character. An entourage of guards, robots, aliens, none of which are the chrome bots, but just, a varied group of guards accompany the Penguin Man, and he comes up to the door and he opens it for Blood, and he says, let's see if I can get his voice. Well, we would like thank you. We would like to welcome you to the arena once again, Mr. Blood. And he bows as Mr. Blood steps out of the car. And his guards form up lines on either side, sort of pushing back what crowd is there up to the door. And he says, if you'll accompany us right this way. And Mr. Blood says, why, yes, my security officer must give the room a once over before we get in there. He says, well, we of course have given the room a once over, but if you want your security officer to do just the same, that could, of course,
Well,
be...
if you've given it a once over, I'll be sure to give it a twice over then, just to be sure. That way we're doing different overs. It won't overlap, don't worry.
Sure, we don't want to overlap. And you guys go right up the steps and into the front door. The group of guards does a good job of keeping most of what crowd there is off of you guys. At most, there are people kind of trying to rush Mr. Blood, asking for money. They're like, please give us some money, and he's like breaking chips off of some credit chunk in his pocket and tossing them out to the crowd. But
Oh, okay. I was gonna roll to slap him.
well, you guys aren't quite there yet.
You're not there.
You guys are still in the car rolling up. This is just
Trust me, if I was there,
Carl
I'd be
and
rolling
Blood,
to try and take them too.
basically with Carissa and some bodyguards as you guys are still pulling up. Carl, you guys approach the door to the blood box in the arena. As you open it up, the bodyguards stand behind you, Blood stands behind you, the Penguin Man is behind you. They're all looking at you sort of expectantly. And as you look into the room, there is there's a bartender already sort of prepping drinks behind the personal bar, but that's really the only person in here.
Gotcha. I'm going to try to discern realities and see what's going on with this place.
All right.
Take a little look around. Cool. I get more experience. I'm going to be such a high level when we get home.
Everyone's going to be so high level. You peek around. I think at most you're distracted by the actual races. The racers seem to be doing warm-ups or I don't know, skirmishes isn't quite the word, but like little bouts before the big race, like
Sparring.
Yeah, kind of like sparring. And these
Race sparring.
horses are different than, I guess, the horses that we know. They have canine-like bodies with these 4 legs coming off of each sort of corner, coming out and down, each with a knee in the middle, and sort of human-like hands. Their head, a mixture of dog and horse.
Not good.
Really
That
gross.
sounds like a horse to me.
But really, maybe. But really agile. As you are distracted by them, you're seeing them like tear up the course. The course is also not like a straight track, like a sprint Olympic stadium, where it's just like flat ground in a circle. It's broken up by equal amounts, but each lane is broken up by pitfalls and walls and various like obstacles that these things have to overcome. And as you're watching, they're like nimbly overcoming them, shockingly nimbly overcoming these obstacles. They're climbing up them. They're like leaping across big pits. Some of them are like climbing down and climbing up with extreme speed. It's just like a really disconcerting thing, I think, to watch. But as far as your search of the room goes, there seems to be nothing quite out of place. The bartender is just prepping, various garnishes and such to go on top of cocktails, which you check over, but none seem to be out of place or, I don't know, like poisonous or bombs or whatever.
Any cameras inside the hot dogs?
No cameras. You check every hot dog bun for cameras and microphones, much to the
No
protest
cam.
of the Penguin Man.
Leaves
But
them good. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna be making food.
ruin all the
That's
food.
true.
The cook is on the way.
And your food won't have any cameras in it, I
They
think.
won't.
Cameras, sure. There's a different ingredient
cameras.
we have to be worried about here. Um,
Or should we start calling those cameras too?
Slippy, Cookie, BBW, your car pulls up to the arena. There is a pretty large crowd out here kind of moving into the arena, getting ready for the start of the main races for the day. And yeah, you folks step out.
All right, really quick, BBW. It is Carissa's birthday today, and we need to figure out what type of present that she would want. So we need to get into her bag without her noticing so that we can figure out what type of thing she needs for her bag
I need to get inside her bag to
without
figure
her
out,
knowing.
without her knowing,
Uh-huh.
to find out what she needs from her bag. I can't just ask her.
No, because it's a surprise.
Because then she'll know. Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
No, but
man.
Lily knows. Lily knows how surprises work.
Yeah, I text Carl, and the text is need Carissa's bag.
Who's text us on
Or
our
surprise.
walkie-talkie?
Or surprise, lol.
right.
The
And then we
three
go
of
up.
you give me discern realities on your way into the arena.
8.
7.
Oh wait, what am I rolling?
A discern reality. No, sorry. This is all. Re-give me those numbers. You can keep your rolls, but defy danger, wisdom. I apologize.
9 then.
8.
Does yours change at all, Dante?
No.
Okay. The crowd is pretty heavy here. At some point, the crowd begins to push through all of you and break you folks up, but not wanting to get broken up. Slippy and BBW's quick thinking huddle the group together, maybe using BBW's extra extendo arms to sort of act as a crowd leash for the few of you folks to not get lost amongst this group as you move up the stairs. And Slippy, you're able to help with that by herding Cookie back over to the group. Cookie, you notice at some point a flash in the crowd moving amongst the faces. One of these chrome robots dip in and out of the crowd. You lose track of its direction, like where it's heading, where it's going. You can't find it again after this, but you know it's there in the crowd and you know it's following you.
Guys,
Yes.
robot,
Again.
4
What?
o'clock.
4
Oh.
o'clock. That's when they're gonna come.
Is that her birthday?
It's her birthday, 4 o'clock.
Good
She
eyes,
got old
Cookie.
fast.
We'll have to
Oh,
let
goodness.
everybody know. So let's not tell Mr. Blood yet, so that he doesn't get stressed out. You know how important this race is to him,
But you guys know it's there,
and I hate it.
and I hate it.
Slippy is going to say, "Hey, you guys head straight for Mr. Blood's box. I'm gonna hunt and track this robot. Then I'm gonna roll 2 dice, and I get 11. So on a 10 up, I get to follow the creature's trail until there's significant change in its direction or mode of travel, and I also get. I want to determine what caused the trail to end.
Oh, if it ends. This is
Mhm,
interesting because it's starting out behind you, following you guys. Cookie, BBW, are you down with this plan? Do you continue forward, or do you have different machinations here?
Cookie is gonna say, I could really use a midnight butler right now, and then hope that one shows up. But otherwise, yeah, I do want to continue forward into the thing. Yes.
BBW shall follow.
Stealthily or just you're gonna do it?
I'm just gonna do it. But no, it's
Slippy's gonna turn around and
loudly.
say, "Hey, do you want to track this thing, or am I gonna track this thing?"
We're gonna track this thing. This is one of my specialties as well.
Cookie doesn't have a gun. Go with Cookie.
Shouldn't
Or
have
don't.
full
I'm not gonna force you, but Cookie doesn't have a gun, so it'd be good to have at least 2 guns.
I'm sure.
And I think
Cookie
you
can
have
manage.
minigun things, ranged implements.
I have toast.
Toast is a ranged implement.
As anyone who's played Destiny, toasters will fuck you up.
It's what he says, anyway, and he turns around and goes and tracks the thing, the robot.
So
So you follow along Slippy, BBW? Or do you go with...
I've been convinced to give Cookie my toast.
Okay,
power.
okay. So BBW and Cookie continue up the steps. Slippy dips into the crowd. At one moment, Slippy is next to you, and the next he has slipped
Slippy dippy.
between 2 people passing by, and you've lost sight of him. Cookie, you flash an eye back and catch just the, I don't know, the shimmer of that silver chrome bot dipping in and out of the crowd again. You know it's still back there. I don't think this is much of like a long hunt and track process. I think with your thing, Slippy, you're able to dip around behind it and get an eye on it, and it is just I don't know, like a little sneakster. It doesn't have any of that extra armor on it. It looks like one of the weaker ones, but it is just following you up. Following, I guess, the other 2 up through the crowd.
I'm going to maintain a healthy distance, but I'm going to... I guess I'm going to radio to Carl, because Carl is probably the closest to contact with the in-house security. So I'm going to say, hey, Carl, this is the S-Band. We need to get some cameras on sector... And I look and see which sector it is. Sector blue upside down horse. We're gonna need some cameras because I'm tracking a silver bot right now, and I need to know if there's more.
When you say blue upside down horse, the robot jerks into a standing still position and then crumples into a heap on the ground.
Uh-oh. Slippy calls again and says, hey, maybe you could kill the robots by saying blue upside down horse? Over?
I'm gonna switch out my thing so I can not listen to that.
Noted. Over.
And then I guess
Is there a PA system?
Definitely, there's
That
going to
is
be
Carl's first.
there's going to be a an announcer announcing the race.
He's trusting Slippy with everything he's got for this mission, so he's gonna go say blue upside down horse to as much of this crowd as possible over a PA
Oh
system.
no. That's a way trust has gone. Yeah, Slippy, I mean, you know, you wait back for a brief moment and peek out the crowd, but you don't see any more of these robotic faces or these chrome bots in the crowd, and you catch back up to your group pretty easily, and making your way through this crowd, you folks make your way towards the blood box, and it isn't long, Ka'arl keeping a watchful eye out over the room. It isn't long before the 3 of you, Cookie, BBW, Slippy, are coming up to the door. There is a group of 4 bodyguards actually on the outside of the door who, as you approach, buff out all of their arms and bodies, and they're like, we're sorry, we're not going to be able to let you folks allowed on in here today.
Slippy shows his Mr. Blood card credentials thing, and he says, I don't think so. And he pushes it up against the guy's chest.
The guy doesn't move in like at all, like you feel like it's a wall, and he touches his ear, and Carl, you hear over a I don't know. There's probably another bodyguard in there over a radio of his. You.
We got a Slippy S. Tombleson out here to be let in.
And he walks over to.
That's Mr. Slippy S. Tombleson to you.
He walks over to Blood and he says,
It absolutely is. Slippy is very much trusted executive here. He's to be put.
He looks down at Slippy and steps to the side and.
Actually, is if you'd like to perform proper etiquette, that would be President Slippy to you.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't piss him off.
Just to you, though.
Just to me, heard. All right, President Slippy, you're welcome on in the room. And he steps to the side and pushes the door open. And
Thank
Slippy,
you.
BBW, and Cookie enter the blood box. In here, there are 3 different bodyguards. Mr. Blood, Carissa, a Midnight Bellhop, who, when Cookie enters, looks at Cookie, and you get the idea that it is ready to help you.
I need to go have a conversation with Carissa.
I also want to go and talk to the Midnight Bellhop at some point.
I think it makes. Do you express this to Slippy in any way as we are heading in?
To go talk to the bellhop?
If not, I'm just gonna meet. Okay, then I'm gonna go and immediately go up to Carissa and say, "Hey, Carissa, there's a security concern that I need to have a word with you really quick. It's very important that we all know. Mr. Blood is gonna get told it."
Carissa is standing at the big open window. She has a drink in her hand. She's clutching her purse in front of her, and she says, there's been a good handful of security concerns, but I think that we seem more safe in this box than we may have been so far. We've got, you folks in here, the security guards right outside.
It regards the box.
Ma'am, one of the horses had a gun.
It regards the box that we're in at this very moment.
What is it?
I need you to remain calm. And empty your pockets. And Slippy does the same. He's going to start emptying his pockets and putting things.
Why would I empty the pockets, Tombleson?
Do you have a listening device? We don't know what devices are listening to us yet. We're trying to figure that out. We know that there's listening devices in the box.
And she
Slippy's looking
empties
around
her pockets and she reveals some gum and some coins, I guess, some different credit hunks.
Okay. And what about your purse?
What about my purse?
Did you get it checked whenever you came in? Did anybody scan it?
Yes.
I can scan it right now if you need me to.
Of course, it got scanned on the way in. We all got scanned. There's metal detectors all around the doors on the way in. Well, metal detectors. What is that?
That's the problem. It's not metal.
What are you saying to me, Tombleson? Give me I don't know, some either parlay, defy danger, charisma,
maybe.
Parlay also works.
I'll do it. Sure, we'll do a parlay because that's a fun roll. That is a 10 with the +1. I don't remember
do
if
what
that
you
is
want
a threshold or not. Is it 9 or?
They just do what you want. She pulls,
and I say
she opens up her purse and shows you inside her purse. She begins pulling some things out. There's lots of.
Yeah, I say, BBW, do you have the scanner? The machinery scanner? The non-metal machinery scanner?
I got metal scanned on the way in.
Not the wood one either.
Just could you scan?
It's time for round 2. And we've attracted.
Could you scan the Madam Carissa's
no.
purse, please?
Yeah, my tractor beam.
On her purse?
It's part of it. It's part of it.
All right.
Yeah, she's definitely
I guess
distracted.
use machine.
That's a 9.
Okay.
Runs when one of the following happens. Afterwards, the machines drain the power. The operation scales my machines. Take -1 on going after machines, and then another is I draw on multiple attention.
Well, you're already that seems integral to this situation and you doing it. But I will. So you send out a tractor beam. It hits her purse, and you immediately feel a kickback in your machines. It pulls her purse out of her hands, and I'll say not to you, but to the floor in between you folks, and you feel just sort of drained and zapped. And it's that second one, a -1 to use machines ongoing until you rest. You can feel it. Like the moment you hit her purse, there was a kickback that, I don't know, negatively charged your system. And Carissa looks panicked the moment that happens, and she actually jumps and dives for her purse. Is anyone...
Slippy is not surprised by this, so he's gonna also jump and dive for the purse.
Okay. Defy danger, dexterity.
Goodness, it's heavy. What's going on?
I got a 9 if anybody wants to help me.
Can anyone help in this? And how can some...
I am there this time.
Yeah,
right?
you're in the
Am I there
room.
this time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How can you lend a hand here, Carl?
Shoot the purse. Shoot the purse 10 times.
It's one object. That was canonized in the Christmas episode, in the Candle Nights episode.
I'm gonna
as many things are.
I'm gonna throw the pen-shaped banner that says "businessmen" over Carissa to get in her way.
Yeah, and you're gonna say whoops.
Give me a help roll.
Bigger thing is a ghost.
Give me a help roll, Carl, for tossing this banner over Carissa before she... Almost like a net, like a business net.
Business net.
And what is this plus?
Help roll would be plus bond with
Plus
Slippy,
bond, right? I have 1, so that is an 8.
So you open yourself up to danger, but you do give Slippy the +1. So Slippy, you get a 10. You dive split second before Carissa, right as that is ripped from her hands, and roll. You're about to collide with her as the business net descends upon Carissa, the banner tangling her for the briefest of moments, and you roll over the purse, and now you have the purse in your hand, and Carissa is detangling herself from the banner and standing up, and she's like, now, Slippy, just please give me my purse back. This is a little absurd. I was scanned on the way in. I was scanned on Blood's ship. I just...
Slippy dramatically turns to BBW, and Slippy says, what did you detect with the detector, Dr. BBW?
Doctor. Something that he doesn't know what to say, but
It's Slippy turns back to Chris and says, well, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that.
Slippy says, well, obviously this something in here has very negatively affected my companion. We need to figure out what that is.
He attacked me. I have my own defenses because Mr. Blood gets into lots of situations similar to this. And he says, well, I do. And I'd appreciate if you folks would stop assaulting my companion here.
Slippy says, you're right. I apologize. It's really a formality. I'm sorry that this has all gotten out of hand. And Slippy opens the purse and looks straight in it. Is there like a hand or like a demon? Like what do we got
It's a full
here?
world of demons.
Oh no!
There's a vial that says "Oops, all poison" on it. No, it's makeup. You see a compact in there. There's a tube of lipstick, little mascara palette. It is generally like as you just like face down into this is a purse of makeup, brushes. There's a communicator in there. I mean, not any different than what you would like. Nothing is out of place.
Here's the thing about this purse. I have a bad feeling about this, which I'm going to survey a dangerous area, and the dangerous area is this purse, the interior of this purse. So I got an 8.
One question.
What else is hidden here, please?
You peek down and you feel a twinge of disappointment as you see all these makeup items, and you're about to... You like go to close the purse and like shrug your shoulders, and as you begin to close the
I go, wait a minute, that's not your shade.
As you begin to close the purse, there is a little light that blinks out from the compact and catches your eye.
I'm gonna grab it and bring it out of the purse and see how Carissa reacts.
You pull out the compact. She's just deadlocked on you. She is like looking at you and she's like, yes, my makeup. Is there something I can help you with, Slippy?
Yes. But first...
And what's that gonna be, Slippy? What can I help you with before you do anything else?
Slippy hands the compact to BBW. And if he has to, he'll do it like monkey in the middle over Carissa. Like, he's
I think you're closer to
now.
BBW than at this point than Carissa is. You're able to just hand it over.
Slippy says, come on, BBW, you're making me look like an idiot.
Your grab is what is this thing?
What is this thing?
It's electronic, but it shouldn't be, I think.
It shouldn't be.
I have a bad feeling about it. and you know, the robots, and Slippy continues to look around the room, and Slippy says, the robots are from the ship. Do you know what else came from this ship? And again, I'm not saying anything, you know, everyone here, everyone in this room is innocent until proven guilty. But this purse also came from the ship. And Slippy says, so BBW, what does that mean?
This means this thing interfered with my tractor view.
It could.
I hope something interfered with it. It has to be something that this came out. I'm gonna roll my electromagnetic detection to see if this is what caused.
Yeah, electromagnetic detection. To scope out the robotics of the area. Give me that roll here.
To bail out your boy Slippy, please bail him out. Oh God, oh God.
I hope so. This on a 7, I can detect the presence of machines in general direction, but not pinpoint their numbers or location. I mean, I'm holding it.
There's one in that general direction. Wherever
There's
you're
one over
holding
there.
it. In that direction, there's a machine for sure. Wherever you move it to, it remains that.
Here, and there's something there too, and over here. There's so many electric things.
Slippy says, well, perhaps I have made an error.
It's everywhere. I can look at this thing.
I put my trust in BBW, and now I have to revoke his doctorate. Regrettably. So,
Drink with it or whatever.
I guess I apologize. Here's your purse back.
As the purse hits Carissa's hand, well, hold on. Nothing happens. There is a thing.
Yeah, because that would be
voice that comes over the live speaker of the racetrack, and it says, "The race will be beginning in 5 minutes." And you could hear a sort of light roar from the crowd outside. It seems that this whole booth dampens the sound pretty incredibly. The PA speaker is actually in the room. And outside you can see these creatures lining up on the starting line with their jockeys atop them, doing little stretches to prep for the beginning of this race. And Carissa returns to the bar and gets her drink topped off, and Mr. Blood goes over to comfort her, and they share a hushed conversation at the bar.
Slippy is just going to look out the window dejectedly. He's going to put his arm up. He's going to put his face up against the window, and that's where he's going to stand for a little while.
Slippy, you're peeking out, and across the field, directly across the track from you in the other private box, there is a wide figure standing in the window, arms behind their back. and they don't seem to be looking down at the racetrack. They seem to be looking directly over into your box.
Darn it.
They are very tall, very wide, probably like 7 feet tall, and like just doubly as wide as you would expect. You know, your general bodybuilder person to be.
Slippy's gonna shout, "Hey, Carl, you have a scope, right? Can you check this guy out across the way? He's mean mugging me, and I'm very vulnerable right now."
And while they're checking that out, Cookie, now is, I think, a good time to speak to the Midnight Bellhop, if that is something that Cookie is interested in.
Yeah, for sure. Cookie wants to check in with the Midnight Bellhop, both to make sure things are good, sort of between the Bellhops and herself, and also to report some of the situation and see if there is aid to be gained here. So she's gonna go over to the Bellhop and say, "Is it possible to request reinforcements?"
You get a vision of, outside the door, there are 4 bodyguards positioned outside the door, blocking the door, and there are 3 in this room with you. There's an Inquisition, like what you would need more reinforcements for. They're, having spoken to the Midnight Bellhops back at the Peacock after your interaction with that Mother Cradle, you got a sense of like an honorific, if we, use the like, yeah, just like the sense of an honorific tacked onto your name. Here, you do not get that in any form or fashion. This is back to the very cold, not cold, but just sort of detached, how can I help you air.
We suspect that another attack is imminent. I respect the wherewithal of the bodyguards that we have, but if the property itself would be able to supply further reinforcement, that would be appreciated. We know that the robots can fly, and we also know that there is at least one in the vicinity of the building.
No, that one crumpled. You hear Slippy say from across the room.
That's okay. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to me. No one should listen to me.
He nods. Please report to me as a representative of his security force if your staff detects anything wrong. Thank you very much.
You get a sense that all of the available like personal bodyguards are here, but there is definitely definitely a strong line of communication between this bellhop and the other bellhops of the racetrack to ensure, safe, fast connection if information does need to be spread. Carl, have you saddled up over to Slippy to scope out the situation over here with your actual scope?
Yes. What am I scoping out exactly?
Yeah, so
again?
across the way there is another private box similar to yours. It's high up on the arena, the top tier on the arena, with this like magnifying glass style window looking down.
I'm sure they feel comfortable. I've got my
exactly. There is directly across the field the opposing box on the other side. It's difficult to see in these boxes from the outside. You're just getting the sense of a shape as you approach and see what Slippy is looking at, but there is a large, imposing figure in this box, and their attention doesn't seem to be down on the field and the preparations there. It seems to be directly on your box, and you can see that even as you come over. There's no downward look. It's all like straight across at your box.
Do they look like they're reacting to the fact that I'm pointing a gun at them?
When you pull up your scope to get a better view of this situation, you're able to see into the window a little bit better. You're magnified into the reverse side of like a magnifying glass, and it is a little weird to see this, but what you see is just a massive mountain of a human. She is bald, and she's like I said, about 7 feet tall, wide figure. She just stands with her arms behind her back, and as you pull up the gun and you're looking through the barrel, she even smirks. But she's definitely looking at you, at your box.
Take the shot.
Hey, yeah. She's watching us, and she's not scared that I'm pointing a gun at her, so...
Hey, Mr. Blood, do you know any 7-foot-tall women, thick as a brick?
Mr. Blood
Not in the usual
strolls
way.
over and he's like, now,
not scared of bullets.
What do we talk about over here?
First, when guns are pointed, Slippy points at the scope and says, take a look. You recognize this person?
Yeah. Like, I hold the gun for him with 2 tentacles and just right here.
Oh, no, yeah, the box across the street, that's one of my business competitors, Carla Dean. She's another heavy better
Sounds
like
good.
myself.
Okay.
Seems more interested in you than the race.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean,
100%
I'd say
more.
that we've got a pretty hefty bet on this race here.
Yeah, but they don't care.
Is
They're
she
looking-
your?
They're watching you as if something's about to go down that they'd like to see. More
she
so
your
than the
main
race that
competitor?
they're betting on.
She might be rather interested in what's going on over here. Like I said, we have very particular bets against each other in this race. As far as my main competitor, she's definitely up there, especially here on Opulence. The reason I have to attend and see in person is this much the reason that Carla Dean herself finds herself here on planet as well. We've got to see this race with our eyes. We've got lots of money riding on this race here. And Mr. Blood draws your attention down to the racetrack, and there's a particular jockey with a red striped shirt on, and he says, "That's my jockey. He's gonna be winning this race today and netting me some big bucks." And most of that's coming from Carla Dean herself. And he looks up through the window and he winks over at Carla Dean. And I guess she winks back. I don't know. They wink at each other.
He's scary. You guys are scary. Are all rich people like this?
Like what? Like what?
Never mind. Sorry for earlier. It's I sort of didn't have a handle of things. You know, after taking a bullet for you, I was just a little bit nervous.
To be frank with you, if I hadn't known that them robots there were coming from my own ship at this point, like we found out outside, I might have even put the finger on old Carla Dean over there. She's a sly bitty.
But not that sly?
Not that sly for what?
Not sly enough to slip them to flip one of your inner circle and get them slipped aboard your ship. Not that sly.
I mean, no one's turning Mr. Blood's in a circle over. These are my people. I take care of them. This is Mr. Blood's in a circle, not Carla Dean's in a circle.
Mr. Blood, are your guests always from your inner circle?
No, like I've lots of guests.
But they go on your
They
ship.
can, yes.
Interesting. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. I like the honorific there at the end. That does feel good. A few minutes go by. There is a general lull in the overall boom of sound coming in from the stadium from outside, and the announcer announces the race.
Did we get the note to the announcer that he needs to announce Blue Upside Down Horse? You know, because that maybe kills the robots.
Okay. The announcer says, ladies.
Oh, and I've got a little note here.
With the owner of the blue upside down horse.
That's the lights on.
Ladies, gentlemen, and androids all across the galaxy, prepare for the Centennial Racetrack Horse Race, courtesy of Pleasure Tower Industries. What's this? What? I'm just beginning. Okay. Blue upside down horse. Is that anything for you? No. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm looking with my scope everywhere.
nothing happens.
The whole crowd collapses.
Nothing happens when the announcer says that out loud.
BBW's gonna play
Okay,
that.
I'm.
Am I done yet?
Okay, with that behind us, we've racing in number 1. We've got Blood's Dream, best horse in Mr. Blood's stables, and the crowd goes wild. That seems to be a pretty good crowd favorite, even though it's the first horse. And racing next to the Blood's Dream, we've got Carla Dean's race team. And the crowd goes somewhat wild, but they don't seem to like Carla Dean's race team. And there's fucking two other horses. At this point, there's two other horses announced, and the crowd loves them. They go wild. Carla Dean's race team seems to be the least favorite of the crowd. But that doesn't change Carla Dean's smirk across the racetrack as the gun is shot and the race begins. The energy kicks up into a roar coming from outside in the stadium as these creatures begin barreling down the tracks and doing their best to sort of climb over the first set of hurdles presented to them.
It's time to discern some realities. This is the perfect time for assassination attempts when everyone's watching the horse race.
I definitely thought you meant you were going to try and kill Carissa.
Kill Carissa.
No. Yeah, let's see what we see. I'm scanning the sky for robots. Is our box anywhere near like crowds or anything? Otherwise, I'm probably just scanning the sky.
Your box is positioned directly like the top row of crowds around this arena. Your box is like above them, angled, the window angled slightly down to give a better view down. Yes, there are, there's a decent crowd on the outside of this, but your average person simply would not be able to get up from the crowd to the window on the outside of this booth even. But yes, you can discern realities on that or on something else if you had something else.
I do believe I'm just still sort of discerning realities in terms of looking for assassins, looking for robots, looking for danger.
Yeah, Slippy will set to defend.
And I rolled a 13. So I think I should start with what here is useful or valuable to me.
The race is kicked off. The energy, the focus is coming in from the crowd down to this event as these creatures are barreling over their obstacles. You're peering around through the crowd beneath the private box that you're in, and I mean, the focus is definitely down there on the racetrack. You scan up at a brief moment and you see Carla Dean standing there still. Now she is on a call. She's still standing at the window, hand up to her head. In your scan, right after you notice that, you notice that for a brief moment, you scan over. No one trusts Carissa at this moment. For a brief moment, you scan over to Carissa, and Carissa's attention is directly over looking at Carla Dean.
Is she on her mirror?
And no, she's not on anything. She's just looking directly at Carla Dean. And for a slight second, you think you see a nod, Cookie. But what does that mean? You have two other questions?
I do indeed. Yeah, what is about to happen is definitely one of them. The other is who's really in control here.
Which one first?
What is about to happen should probably be last, just so that we move the action. That's a good action forward mover.
Yeah, maybe we should slot my defense roll in before.
I saw you roll for that. Yeah, I was curious about your number before things kicked off.
Defense is plus what again? Is it plus con? What is defend? Defend is plus con. So I have a total of a 9.
And what does that do on defend? For not a 10?
On defend, as long as you stand in defense, when you or the thing
3 holds
you are defending is attacked. Oh yeah, I get 1 hold as opposed to 3 holds.
Oh, because you got you got middle. So 1 hold.
Yes.
If something happens to, I'm imagining that defense is in of blood. Cool.
Correct.
So something happens to blood, you get to spend 1 of those defends. Cookie, you're peeking around. I'm gonna answer, I think, these in conjunction to one another. That slight nod draws your attention, and you look at her, and then there is a firm. She nods 1 time firmly, and then just shrugs and goes to turn around. And in that moment, you know that she is in communication in some form or fashion with Carla Dean, and that Carla Dean is giving her an order of some kind, and she turns around and pulls back the sleeve on her big poofy dress and presses a button on her bracer. And it lights up and starts blinking, and she reaches into her purse. This is all kind of quick. What do you folks do as this happens?
I have to stay defending, so I'm not doing anything yet.
Can we shoot the bracer?
I'm gonna cut her hand off.
Shoot Slippy's ex-girlfriend.
Okay, so
Does that seem rational to everybody?
Slice her hand clean off real quick. If that's what Carl wants to do.
I shoot her wrist 10 times.
My only solution is turn her into a bug. So
that's your solution for everything.
It's true.
I got an 8
on hack and slash.
That hits, so I roll damage, right?
Goodness me.
Yes.
Or at least it succeeds.
You don't even know why you're doing this.
Sure does. 9 damage.
I cut her hand off.
She whips around, presses this button.
Slippy starts to scream
above the bracer too. I want that bracelet away from
What's
her.
up, BBW?
Like as soon as it comes off, can I use my tractor beam to like take the arm as well?
Slippy is wailing. Slippy is like, ah!
Okay.
He's like this portrait of the scream.
Give me
right
that
now.
tractor beam. I want to get all the rolls in so I can canonically pull this together as a story. BBW, give me that tractor beam roll. Use machines. You have -1.
Minus one.
So that's a 6. Darn it. That didn't really work out then.
What is a 6 is just a failure. Okay.
Yes.
That's probably
that
for
fits
the
in with
best.
the
Probably.
story anyway. Okay.
It's probably too heavy.
So, I mean, all this happens right at once. Cookie sees this. I think with your thing, Cookie, you're able to like show just enough alarm that your whole team's focus whips into Carissa as she's spinning around. Carl, what are you swinging down to chop her arm off with? What weapon do you have for this?
It's my staff. It's a spear.
Oh, the end of it's a spear. I was like, you're breaking her hand off her
It's
body?
a spear with a it's a spear with a taser butt, and so the spear end I'm imagining is about like half a foot
enough to slice
max. Just to slam it off. Just as soon as I see her hit that button, I'm like, nope, off.
So yes, Carl, she whips around, she presses this button and starts reaching into her hand, and all of a sudden there's a light clang as the edge of Carl's
revolver oscillator.
The edge of Carl's spear connects with the very edge of this bracer and severs her entire arm off, basically at the elbow. It was a big bracer covering up her whole forearm. And BBW's tractor beam fires out, and it does hit the thing, but rather than pull it back, it seems to jam up right as it hits it, and the arm goes flying backwards and into the corner behind her on the other side of you guys. It's just flopping, and she panics. I think right away when her arm severs, Carl, I need you to give me a defy danger dexterity. There is a wave of force that comes out from her as you have severed her arm.
10.
Yeah, you're ready for something. You're ready for combat, and you immediately push yourself backwards as this wave of force comes out.
I'll start a fight that I'm not ready to take.
I'll say that it collides with you, but you're moving backwards fast enough to just like let it push you even further back, and you bump up against the wall with a little bit of force, but nothing besides the light breath being knocked out of you. And you folks are now here. Carissa,
yes, out of my
her
lungs.
purse has dropped to the floor. She has a tube of lipstick in the one hand that she has remaining, and her thumb is hovering over the cap of the lipstick, and she says, all right, let's all take a breath here. I don't want to have to do anything hasty. I'd prefer to get a good payout from this mission myself and not have to sort of throw my life away on this one. And Mr. Blood says, what's going on in here? What is happening in this booth? And Carissa says, dear, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up and sit down. And Blood's almost immediately he goes, okay, and sits down. She's like, that's better. Now, things have gotten a little out of hand here.
I want to cut her other arm off. And I rolled a 12.
Yeah, I want to also shoot the lipstick.
If she's holding the lipstick, I'm just like, hey.
Yeah,
I know exactly what I can do to solve this problem.
You go for the wrist. I'm also going for the wrist, but with a gun.
So that is a 14 dexterity roll to hack and slash.
Yeah, do you want to make it 15?
Are you aiding? You're aiding with that?
Yep.
That's a 9 to my next tractor beam.
No, I forgot. I can't.
You're defending.
It's I'm just going to continue to scream.
Only 2.
You said a 9 on your next tractor beam, BBW?
Oh, sorry.
Is that with?
Yeah, I'll take the lipstick away from.
Is that with -1?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's with -1.
So I guess Carl is up in there immediately, spear cutting through her other arm, and before anything, that's so fast. That was such a good.
I was still mid twirl.
Boy,
let's not do anything hasty. Does something in most hasty.
It takes off her other arm, but faster than she could expect.
Cookie, slowly takes an egg out of her pouch or wherever she keeps them.
That's all Chris is good for.
So as her second arm is removed from her body, BBW, your tractor beam connects with the lipstick and flings it back over to you. You feel your tractor beam short out. Carl, same sort of situation. I'm gonna need you another defy danger dexterity as you sever her second arm. Oh, and also, how much damage did you do? Because you removed
7
an arm.
It was 3
Okay.
the second time.
That was a 7 on the defy danger.
Yes.
This time you're not so lucky. In getting in there so fast, you opened yourself up to this wave of force. I think you knew it was coming. I think that it wasn't so much of a surprise to Carl that this second force came out to damage, not through armor, so you're probably fine. As you're pushed again back across the room, Carissa kind of drops to the ground in a heap. She doesn't seem to be moving, but she is bleeding, and there is a puddle of blood extending from her as
laying on the side going, Slippy, you remember that time Carissa bled out on the floor?
I think it's safe to say that we're off again.
Off again as there's sort of a little bit of silence that is overtaking.
I want to ask the bellhop for medical supplies, and I want to go over to Carissa and see if she's awake.
Yeah.
What he has to say by blood, he's defending.
The bellhop pulls up a first aid kit from beneath the bar and slides it over to Cookie. As you are walking over to Carissa, there's a bit of silence in the room, and you hear a light beeping coming from the corner where her arm had flipped to with the bracer, and it is quickening, getting much faster in beeping. But you get over to Carissa with your first aid kit and your egg.
The 2 buttons and the sweaty.
Am I close enough to try a defy danger strength to try and yank her up and dive away from whatever this is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why'd you need the medical supplies?
Well, the medical supplies were originally to help wake her up if she was unconscious. I wanted to talk to her, but I rolled a 4 for a total of 6. Bright side of this is that I level up now. Level 5.
That's goofy because you hear the beeping and you bend down real quick to grab Carissa and try to pull her away from the beeping, and you sort of stumble and she ends up in a heap atop you and nothing happens. I mean, the beeping just continues to increase in speed.
I think we should leave. And Slippy looks back down at the drop outside of the window. How far of a drop is that?
There's a crowd beneath you, but it's about a 20-foot drop to the crowd.
Okay, well there goes my
10 foot drop to the crowd. That's real far, 20 feet.
Don't worry, guys. We won't get hurt.
Slippy
into a crowd of civilians.
Slippy is also gonna do. I don't know if this is Defy Danger or if this is Volley, but it's probably a combination of these things. Slippy is gonna grab Mr. Blood. He's a smaller man, right? Isn't that what we've said?
I guess so. Yeah, he can. If we haven't said it before, he is now.
Yeah, I imagined him Doug Dimmadome, so he's not like a huge person.
He's a tiny boy.
So Slippy is going to first do a volley to the window that we're to the volley of the window.
You're trying to shoot out the
booth.
window.
That's what it is. The blood booth. I got a 10. Pew, pew, pew.
Your bullet hits the window, and there is a electronic fizzle that it spreads out across the window, but then there is no damage to the window.
Well, and then I pick up Mr. Blood and start running for the door.
As you pick up Mr. Blood, the four of you hear outside the room a shout and then some heavy thunks. And right as you hear this, the beeping becomes a singular tone from the bracer, just almost like a lifeline going dead from the bracer. None of the rest of it has sounded lifeline but just for the vibe of it, it goes like a steady beep, and you hear several thunks outside the door. What do you do?
I'm still got Mr. Blood under my arm and I'm running
to the door.
Yeah, I'm at the very least gonna peek out, and then maybe I can hold him out, and we can both peek out at the same time.
I mean, you open the door, and outside, you peek outside of the door, and there are 4 bodies on the ground outside of the door, and an empty hallway.
Right. Slippy turns to Mr. Blood, looks up, and Slippy looks down. He says, "So do we want to leave, or do we want to stay in the room with the beeping, Mr. Blood?"
This is a hard one. I can't, we gotta be near enough by, that way I can see the end of the race, but whatever gets me to the end of the race.
Mr. Blood.
Hey, there's a lot of money riding on this race. This is the whole point of all of this was that I see the race.
Slippy comes back in the room, and Slippy says, "BBW, can you disable the energy shields on the window?"
Oh,
As a great
well, that's
question.
happening. Carl does also want to try to cut the bangle in half. That's beeping.
You just keep chopping away.
Like, you know what? This too.
Yeah, give me a hack and slash on the bangle. 9.
And assuming that hits 8.
A worse outcome. You swing your spear down, you hit the bangle, and the beeps a couple times weirdly and sporadically, and then dies off. The moment that you connect and cause damage to this bracer, you feel a shock in your hand, and you drop your staff for a moment, and you pick it back up, swing it around a little bit, doesn't seem any different, and you go to test out the taser, and it seems weirdly dysfunctional, like it's sporadic as you press it. It's not a steady stream of electricity. It seems like something in that bracer caused a malfunction in your technology on your staff.
Gotcha.
BBW.
Take time to fix that.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have anything to do to check out the shield on this window?
Yeah, I want to find where it's wait, it's probably not there. I'm just gonna put my hands around the edges of it, and I'm gonna try to use my command of robots on it. Try and make it turn off.
Okay, yeah. I like that. Yeah, this, I mean, as you approach, you touch it, you feel it. It doesn't, you know, there's no like electronic box sitting off to the side, but as you touch it, like there's a very, very thin, clear, like electronic sheet over this whole window, keeping it protected.
Oh. I got a 10 with the -1 on my roll. Like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have a -1 to this specific ability, but I mean that's great. Anyway, yeah, that's just to your like using any of your use machine spells.
Oh, okay.
It just does what you want, right?
Plus, that's what I want.
Yeah, you hear a shut down in power, and actually all of the lights in the room go out as well. And the magnification on the window cuts out, and you just see just a window. I mean, you can still see down, but there's no more magnification either.
All right, now lock the door, and we'll pretend we're not here.
As you go to the door, who goes to lock the door?
Slippy can't. He's holding Mr. Blood.
Cookie's gonna check on Carissa.
Gonna pull her off of you.
Yeah, gonna roll her off of me and see if she's conscious or how she's doing.
Unconscious and unstable. Like she's bleeding out of both of her arms. Her skin seems kind of pale.
Well, I have a med kit. I'm not totally sure if that will help with this, but we can try and stop the bleeding. Maybe BBW has something we could use to cauterize the wound.
I was gonna say something. I could try.
It's always worth a try, and if the cauterizing doesn't work, it'll be enough to wake her up.
Just toast the wrists.
Mm-hmm.
That's what cauterization is, right?
I think one of BBW's used machines is like healing someone, right?
Yeah.
So if you do use machines, I know that this was like a cookie-centric action, it seemed, but if BBW does use machines, you could aid with the medical kit. That seems like something that could roll down through abilities.
I'm super down with that. I just want to wake her up and ask her a question.
So then BBW if you would like, use your machines to heal Carissa.
All right.
We can call this cauterizing the wound.
That was an 8 for my operate machines. So one of the following happens. Machines drain the power. It scrambles my machines or draw unwelcome attention.
You reach down. What's the heal? What's the heal like? Yeah.
It's a 1d8. Here for 1.
Perfect. You just cauterized the wounds enough for Cookie to get in with the med kit and staunch the bleeding between the two of you. She stirs a little bit here at the end as you're wrapping up the ends of her arms.
Her toast is made of people.
She doesn't seem entirely responsive, but she is like stirring a bit, Cookie.
Gonna slap her. Wake up.
You do 1 damage and she dies.
Now's not the time for sleeping. Up we get. Wake up. Gotta talk to you.
Just let me die.
Is that what you want?
Oh, existential. Not entirely, but I'm not feeling too great at the moment, having both of my hands have been removed.
Yeah, so we were gonna get you help, but like,
why did you cut off my hands in the first place?
Because you were holding things that were clearly presenting a danger. Don't hold something that's a threat to me, and you won't lose your fucking hands. What did we learn?
Okay, sorry, is there a question I can answer? This all sort of just sucks. I don't have hands now. What's up?
How do we stop the attack? Tell us, and you can leave with at least your legs.
The bracer you first removed, if you can press the button in the right pattern, the location sequence.
Yeah, what else?
That was sort of the one I had because it was attached to my arm. If like that was the one I had. So.
Well, that's a shame. Carl takes the rifle out and points it at her. Because if you can't help us stop this, then I don't really see why we need to keep you in here.
But okay, there is a backup plan, as I was getting to, but with this sort of energy, it's not really something I want to take. Because you're right, we're all sort of in trouble right now, and she sort of motions to her arms. But, I mean, without the bracer, you don't really know how to stop it. So even if you finish me off, it's not like this is going to end for you anytime soon. So we just cool it with the hostility a little bit. Maybe we can work something out here.
Look, my one job is to shoot people, all right? Someone else take over the diplomacy.
How about this?
I can shoot you 12 times, but I don't know how to talk to you.
Don't listen to him.
I wouldn't like that.
I have a way for you to continue living. Your life can continue almost uninterrupted.
Slippy turns around.
Almost
Slippy turns away from the situation.
Yeah, Carl is camouflaged away. Just like, nope, I'm gone.
Maybe they'll be still here. Very curious.
Kind of watching.
I can't guarantee that it will work exactly the way I want it to. But if you want, I can try something to give you another life.
A one-up. So
I am alive at the moment. If we can get out of this sort of situation, the hands can be rectified. There's plenty of good paths for that. I don't need whatever weird dark bargain is happening here. I just think that maybe there's ways that we can all get out of this scrape alive. And Cookie, she flicks her eyes over to Slippy and Blood, who have their, I guess, backs turned to the situation.
Yep. He's still under my arm, but he's looking out at the field, enjoying the show.
He's nodding. He's like, yes, go Blood's dream or whatever.
Do it. Go.
Just watch the bunnies, Mr. Blood.
He seems pleased. He seems pleased that his horse is running a good race. He's like, yes, Blood's dream.
And Slippy is crying silently onto his back. It's a good scene.
So wholesome.
I mean, you're suggesting that we complete your contract for you. I don't see what's in it for us because our job description is explicitly not do that. You'll get us fired.
You get a pretty bad rap.
And no one has to know that you helped. We could all knock you folks out, and I could easily split the reward with you.
But then we'd be known as bad bodyguards. We were hired to keep this guy alive.
I know how the military works. One failure of a mission does not constitute a total drop back. And Mr. Blood's like, hold on, what's happening back there? Slippy, turn us around.
Yeah, but I'll feel stupid, and that's the real reason this is a problem.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. And Slippy turns.
What's happening back here? He says as they turn around.
Absolutely nothing.
Chris is like, they cut off my arms, so not much is happening back here.
He was a traitor, so we're trying to gather information on what the operation is like.
There is a thick, heavy bang at the door, causing it to shake in its...
Right, prisoner? I was interrogating.
Causing it to shake in its frame. And she says, I mean, we all might want to come to some sort of conclusion, because it looks like my backup might be here.
Oh dear.
Well, how many of them are there? I check my
Slippy has his gun behind his back pointed at the window.
How many of them are there? Give me a number between 1
21.
and 20.
Oh no, my one weakness. 21 enemies.
I have 2 magazines.
I have 22 bullets.
One in the chamber, baby.
That wouldn't help me in any way, shape, or form to tell you how many are out there. This seems like we're on pretty even footing right now in terms of a negotiation. Well, almost. She looks at her arms.
Even footing, that's for sure.
This is good. This is good stuff.
I do appreciate your even-handedness.
Oh my God.
So
stop, she's
Slippy
already dead.
continues to cry.
That was a little short-handed, dude.
Slippy cries harder.
If only she had had the forearm sight. Sorry.
Rip it. Rip it.
Okay.
Rip it.
Your idea is not without merit, but I don't see how it benefits us, given that we are not the only parties involved. And Cookie flicks her eyes toward all of the other bodyguards in the room.
That can easily be taken care of, as we're about, the whole room can be taken care of. Blame placed off your backs, and Mr. Blood's like, hold on, what are we talking about now? No, you folks are here to protect me. What is this all about? She's obviously
don't worry.
causing some trouble, so let's put an end to this. I can find a new
Don't worry,
companion.
Speedums, I'll protect
And she
you.
says, find a new companion, excuse me. Yes?
Well, he's already good. Obviously going to do that, Carissa. Come on, Carissa.
Look, Carissa, you think you're irreplaceable? Look at how well Slippy's doing. He's a fucking catch. and Carl holds up for a high five.
Ribbit.
Slowly lets it down.
Slippy can't because one arm has Mr. Blood underneath it, and the other one is pointed at the window behind him. Just crying
As the arms
softly.
There is a second bang at the door, causing splinters. The other security guards have their guns. The other three in the room, I think, with you, have their guns pointed at the door, and they're like, we doing this? We opening fire? What's the play here? Bloods boys.
We're gonna need some backup. Shoot anything that is silvery and metallic that comes through, and really
Silver
anything else that
robots.
looks threatening. Anything that looks threatening, just shoot.
Another
at
bang
it.
at the door, like that.
Yeah, that fits
shoot
the
that.
bill.
Oh,
Now.
okay, all right.
Don't shoot first, ask questions later.
They open fire on the door. Several shots discharged from their
Mr. Blood, I think I see a spider in
their
your
weapons.
collar.
What are you talking about, Spider? There are several shots discharged from their weapons, splintering the door into pieces. There's a little bit of, I don't know, smoke and detritus in the air, dust and detritus in the air, and as that settles, a wide, chromatic robot steps through the door, breaking out the door frame a touch from the wideness of it, the width of its shoulders, and it scans the room and locks on to first Mr. Blood and begins taking a step towards Mr. Blood.
Can I shoot it in the kneecap?
Absolutely. Give me the volley roll.
I'm going to shoot it in the kneecap. That is a 6, marking experience.
The bullet reflects off the kneecap and into a bodyguard. You hear one of the bodyguards say as he drops to the ground. I wanted to get them out of the way anyway, so that's not a problem for the story.
No, I can tell.
I forgot about them at some
point.
point, and then I was like, oh fuck, there's bodyguards in here. So
Oh no, there's a lot.
that
of
one
ones
got
in
shot
here.
in the knee. It
Let's
bounced
do
off the
those.
robot's knee and hit the bodyguard in the knee. He says, ow! Oh, my knee! And the other bodyguards are like, hey!
He doesn't need knees to shoot a gun. Keep shooting.
They begin reloading their weapons. The robot does not stop its stride. Slippy BBW, or I guess Cookie BBW.
I'm waiting until it's like, I don't know, 5 feet away from me, 10 feet away from me. I'm gonna do a dramatic fall backwards with Mr. Blood in my arms after I shoot the window out, but I don't want to do that yet.
Sure, yeah.
I really
That
don't wanna
feels
do
like
that
last
yet.
resort for sure. BBW Cookie for non-route last resort.
I'm gonna try to tell it this to stop with my computer robots. That's a 9. I can parlay with the robot by offering it data power proper usage. Oh dear.
It is a robot, yeah.
It is a robot.
You would know what robots want more than you would, probably. He is a robot.
True. We're slowly start taking off my
fuck.
party hat. I know exactly what it wants.
You didn't think about having a hacker on your team, did you?
And did you? I built his class.
This is like the end of Outer Worlds where you can skip like one of the final boss fights if you just have a high enough hack skill.
This is hard. I don't know that it wants anything of those three. I think
The only program
when you
for
do
one
this thing, it almost sends an error message back to you that there's just no sort of connection here. It doesn't need any of these three things. But in that code, you know that it, as a bot, has a pretty small max capacity charging tank, and that is easily overloaded. So I think the thing, in order to get it to stop, you have to offer it a large amount of power. Less like in trade and more of like what you will need to do to get it to stop.
I actually rolled a 10 because it's a 2, then my -1.
On what?
For operating machines with a single commanded robot, and it must obey. I just
okay, so you issue that command. What is that command as it's marching across the room?
Break your own knees.
What?
That's a good command. Yeah.
It
follows the 3 laws of robotics.
It stops and begins kind of surging forward and in place for a moment. I think that is all that happens with that. It is stopped and it is just sort of like, surging in place for a brief moment. Is there a response from Cookie as well to this?
What's the guy stunned? Can't imagine why it wouldn't want to break its own news though.
I used the command spell and everything. I don't know why he didn't just kill himself.
Yeah. I was gonna go spout lore looking for robot weaknesses. I think first I'll say to Carissa, well, you have me convinced. I don't think we're really bodyguards anyways. I thought I was hired to explore new planets. However, the rest of the team says no, so, no. If you want to convince them, that's super cool and I'm on board. Otherwise, I've got to figure out how to defeat a big robot now. And I'm going to spout lore on the robot. Hopefully with its weaknesses. That's an 11.
You remember a book that you read called The Big Book of Robot Weaknesses?
There's, you're watching this robot. I think in between, it seems very heavily armored, but there are a few points in the back of its armor in between where its shoulders are connected to its main frame that there is gaps in the armor. And you know that based on, I think, your interactions with BBW and in your robots and the few years you've been alive, that with a good amount of force, you can pry that arm clean off. You just gotta get something in there.
So it's got the same weakness as Carissa. Got it.
I mean, yeah, the I guess the maker puts their Achilles heel into their art.
Thanks, God.
The robot surges forward one last time, and then its foot swings forward, and it takes another step, and then continues on its way towards Mr. Blood. It is approaching. I think the front line of this would probably be BBW at this moment. Carl and Cookie, I think you're off to the sides, and Slippy, you're behind BBW with Blood.
Oh God! Oh jeez!
And it's getting closer and closer to BBW.
Is there like a lamp pole or a broom handle or any sort of thing I could use for leverage? If I see something like that, I'd like to run in and try and jam that in there.
Yeah, in all of this, we can say that a chair, chairs have been broken around. There is a pretty thin, elegant chair leg. I only say thin as it could fit into the gap, but it's like a full, tall, like bar chair leg that is just in a heap.
Maybe that'd be hack and slash or defy danger to run in there and get him.
Feels like a defy danger strength.
All right, defy danger strength. 8.
With that, Cookie runs up and leaps and jams this chair leg into the back of the robot. Cookie, it begins to turn and swing its arm around at the damage it's just taken in the back. If you stand there as it spins, you know that you can, in the moment, use that to increase the leverage and probably pop that arm off. But you will take the full brunt of the other arm swinging just like around in a helicopter style. Or you can leave it in there. It's jammed in there firmly and dodge out, but missing the opportunity to take the arm off for the moment.
I'm gonna try taking the arm off.
Yeah, you do. You've already done the thing, so you stand there, and as it spins around, Cookie pulls down hard, its right arm coming off of its body. It's helicoptering, spinning around on its upper portion, just spinning around separate from its lower portion. Its arm out to the side is going to collide with Cookie. 4 points of damage. Not through armor. Basically, imagine you always have armor unless I say through armor. That way I don't have to say not through armor. That just, is always not through armor. So yes, 4 damage, and you are pushed backwards. Carl catches you from continuing, but the arm, its right arm comes clean off of its body. It continues its spin around and rewrites itself, and then it turns its entire body towards Cookie and Carl and holds out its palm, which opens up a little door, and you can see a red energy sort of charging up, building up inside of that hand. What do the two of you do?
I want to try shooting it directly in the hand. I want to Independence Day this motherfucker.
Yeah, it worked in Independence Day. Why can't it work here?
They were aliens. This is kind of an alien. That's a 7.
They were on a planet. We're on a planet.
7.
I want to defy danger dexterity.
That tracks.
Damage is also a 7.
What's your defy danger dexterity, Cookie? A 3, you say. Okay. With the 7 on your thing, Carl, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to defy danger. BBW and Slippy. BBW, defy danger normal. Slippy, defy danger +1 because you have an out prepared for what's about to occur.
I sure know where I'm gonna go. Yay. Defy danger.
Dexterity.
Okay, mine is a 12.
6.
Carl, this thing spins towards you and Cookie and opens up its hand, and you don't miss a beat to fire a plasma shot right down that hand barrel. There is a small discharge of electricity across the thing's hand and a brief moment of stillness before there is a huge explosion coming from this thing's hand. Carl,
I played fucking Metal Gear Solid. I don't know how to take out a tank.
Immediately shot at the thing. Carl and BBW, 5 points of damage. Slippy, with that discharge happens, you spin around and shoot the window, and Blood's like, hold up, as you jump out the window, the explosion pushing you out. You free fall those 10 feet. You do take...
I'm holding Mr. Blood above me, so that he lands on my soft amphibian form whenever he lands.
All right.
Crowd, Slippy, Mr. Blood.
Okay, you take 4 points of damage from your fall. Based on crowd beneath you and blood above you smashing into you. You clear out some crowd beneath you. They don't seem to be moving as you have landed atop them. Carl...
Your next spend in unusual ways.
I'm just looking up at Mr. Blood and I'm saying, is he winning, sir?
Mr. Blood seems to be trying to come to after he's like, Blood's fucking, what's my horse's name? Blood's dream. Is Blood's dream winning? I don't know. The crowd around you is definitely looking in, Cookie or Slippy, but as you look around, you see that this actually has not stopped anything. The horses are still going. The crowd a little bit further out is just like standing there cheering on the races. Like nothing has really changed. You guys up in the room, this room is filled with smoke, and you have all been shoved back into walls. As the room is beginning to clear smoke, what is your first thought?
Did I take my damage for rolling a 3?
Sorry, you took the same as the other 2. Might not have mentioned your name. That was, I think, 4 damage from the other 2, right? Oh, 5 total.
Okay, neat. So I'm just unconscious.
Nice.
Do I take damage as well?
Carl, you took 5, correct, from that explosion? Yep. So
minus the 3 from my defense.
Yeah, and minus defenses if you have them. Carl, Cookie, BBW take total of 5. If you have defenses, great.
I am also unconscious.
Hey, good explosion. As the explosion clears, Carl, you pull yourself out of a little heap of rubble, and you're the only one standing in the room.
I grab each of them
Chris is
with
dead.
one
They're
fucking
both-
tentacle and
both
drag the
unconscious.
living ones out.
Dragging him out of the doorway? Or out of the window?
Out of the primary area of danger.
No, I mean,
don't
you
know.
guys. So you guys are in the private box. Slippy has shot the window out and jumped out of the window to save himself with Mr. Blood. So he's out and in the crowd below. Or there's the door where this thing came from, out into the hallway where there is no one for some reason.
Well, I guess it's an easy choice, because I doubt poultice pouches work on mechanical parts. Do you think they will?
I mean, it's so I made it a poultice pouch because I didn't want a healing potion. Like, healing potion to me seems more high fantasy than the flavor we were going for.
So presumably, it could be Schrodinger's pouch that contains either health supplements or a wrench, whichever the user needs when they
It's
happen to open
100%
it.
Thinking about my pouch of useful
it
items.
has, yeah, poultice pouch you can definitely use to heal BBW. We can, save basically
I have
flavorly.
2 of those, so I was gonna give 1 to Cookie and 1 to BBW, and that's 7 hit points each.
Ooh.
So that should be a pretty decent bump.
Hot damn. Yeah, those herbs, it's like, the first bit is like smelling salts, and you're like rested from blackness, the both of you. Things went black for a brief moment, maybe for us, maybe a little bit longer for the 2 of you, but before you even saw anything, you are ripped from that blackness by a strong scent. And then you snarf down some of the healing poultice herbs. There's a mini wrench to fix some of BBW's bolts, and the 2 of you are healed for those 7 from Carl, and are awoke into the rubbled mess of this room. You can hear now, the 3 of you sitting up can hear several sets of like metallic clanking coming from the hall outside in the door. Slippy, you are laying in the crowd. What's up?
So while we're sort of crowd surfing along, Slippy is going to sort of bring his legs up, make sort of a chair for Mr. Blood to sit on while he's watching the race. So Mr. Blood is sort of sitting on Slippy's folded legs. He's got his feet on Slippy's chest, and Slippy's going to go ahead and get out his walkie-talkie, and he's going to say, hey, this is, because I have the walkie-talkie to what was his name? Penguin? The guy who runs the guy whose voice is like Slippy's.
Penguin.
The security guy.
Yeah. We'll call Penguin.
So Slippy, and
You
he
guys
says,
just called him a penguin, but yeah.
Slippy calls him and says, hey, Penguin, it's Slippy. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. The races are going well. There's only a little bit of damage.
Wrong. It's going
Damage to the
bad.
Stadium. Oh, that damage to the stadium is you guys. Would you like us to send in some backup?
We need help. Mr. Blood is in the crowd right now.
That's no good. We gotta get him out of the crowd. Why is he out of the crowd, Slippy?
Because there was an explosion and I had to save his life. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Boom. We're sending people to check it out right now.
Yes, send somebody down to the crowd to retrieve myself and Mr. Blood.
Okay.
To the brown reverse carp
Everyone
section.
in the crowd goes dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Thanks, Sweetums.
Yeah.
You have made yourself into this chair. You're sitting on laying down bodies, because you've crumpled the people beneath you.
Oh, I thought we were crowd surfing.
No, you took out the people beneath.
That's okay. As long as he can see.
his thing.
As
He
long as he
stands
can
up
see.
off of you. He's not trying to sit atop you. He's like, that's okay. I have a better view from down there than I had from up there. I had a better.
Do you want to
view.
get on my shoulders,
Huh?
my lord? Do you want to get on my shoulders, my lord?
I'm good down here watching. Just want to.
Okay. Then I'm gonna set up a defend action while we're waiting for the help. I'm gonna take an experience.
Yikes.
Hopes that doesn't come back to bite me.
The three of you hear that metallic clanking, and then you hear some shouting and sounds of gunfire, and then you see plasma bolts streaking back and forth across the door frame.
Time to go.
Out the window?
Kind of think so. It does seem safer out there than in here. I'm jumping.
Cookie has a soft
Yeah,
moment of contemplation and then
Carl's
jumps.
in.
As the three of you are looking around the room back and forth between the door and the window, you see the chrome several chrome bots start to appear in the doorway and turn their attention towards you while still firing down the hallway. Three of you spin around and jump out the window. It's a pretty far drop. Give me a defy danger constitution because you're just brunting the fall here.
8.
That's a 6.
12.
The Arl bounces.
12, 8, 6. Good, a range.
Early, I'm on BBWs and acrobatic.
BBW, you hit a chunk of concrete and are planted into the concrete. You don't take any damage. You just like plant yourself into the concrete, and your legs are able to just like push yourself up out of the concrete. Carl, I like that you bounce. Carl, you are falling, and you can either land on someone random who's watching the game, or land on the concrete. You don't. I mean, falling from this height, being any amount of weight, is not going to be good for any person in general.
Do I know the person?
No.
Ooh.
Person anywhere in the world?
What does the nearest person below me look like? Do they look like a douchebag from this angle?
What does the top of their head look like?
They're cheering on the races. They're
Fuck that guy. Get him.
Okay, then Carl, you'll land on a person, taking them out, taking a reduced amount of damage, being 3. Cookie, you slam jam right into the concrete, taking, well, I said reduce, but it's also 3 damage.
Aim for one of these things. They step off the corpse and walk into the crowd.
Yeah, next time.
As you folks are standing there in the crowd, you see coming from the doors, the sort of audience gates above you, there are several security guards looking down, and they spot you and they're pointing, and they're all running down the crowds, waving to you like, hey, come to us, we're gonna get you out of here. And Mr. Blood's like, this race is almost over, we can almost get out. But he is like hard pressed to the side of this as the horses come around their last leg of the track and into the final stretch.
Who's in the lead?
Slippy just shrugs and says, what baby wants, baby gets.
The lead currently is Carla Dean's racing team horse, who is just ahead of Blood's Dream, and Blood is like gripping the edge of this thing, watching the edge of the like railing, just like watching so intently. And
I want to lean in next to him with my gun and say, with no offense intended and no pressure, sir, if you'd like me to shoot the other horse, I can.
I can shoot it a bunch
you
of
really
times.
couldn't. You
horse and
really
the
couldn't,
jockey.
he says, without taking his eyes off the track, giving no more information than just that. You
Take your
folks
word
are
for it.
peeking around in the crowd, just like last second trying to get a glance on things as this race is drawing to a close, and you see several folks on the edge of this ring and deeper into the crowd begin ripping their skin off in like patches, and beneath is the robotic
Cracks.
chrome structure and they begin charging from the crowd at you guys.
Carl starts screaming, "Blue upside down horse! Blue upside down horse! Blue
There is
upside
no
down!"
reaction. They are streaming out of the crowd at you. There are too many to count, and they're coming.
I'm gonna shoot 12 of them.
Give me that volley roll for just firing into the crowd. Hell yeah. There's 12 audience members for if you miss, so it's not a big deal. Either way, someone gets hit.
That is a 12.
Either way, 12 people are dying right now.
And then roll damage.
Damage is only 3. Because it's +1.
As the
so,
first
3 damage, but I
As the
nailed
first
them.
wave breaks through the crowd and is rushing forward, Carl peppers the front, but it doesn't seem to do much to deter them as they're like washing in, beginning to wash in over you. Cookie, BBW, Slippy.
How far is the next layer down?
Another 20 feet down.
A
Slightly further
the
fall
crowd
than
down
your
there
first
looks
fall.
softer.
No, a slightly further fall than your first one.
I guess what Slippy is going to do, because I am the furthest away from the wave of robots currently, I assume. I'm gonna ask Mr. Blood, are you ready to go yet? Mr. Blood, the crowd is taking their skin off. Mr. Blood.
I'm ready for you guys to protect me. We're in the final leg here. The races are just like the horses are just sprinting down towards the finish line.
Slippy is going to pick Mr. Blood up and put him on his shoulders and then do a defend roll, which is a 10. So I think that's hold 3.
Cookie's also rolling to defend. Cookie rolled a 12. Cookie's got her walkout.
It's also hold 3.
BBW.
Also roll defense. Do I add anything to it?
Constitution.
That's just a 7 for me.
7. So you get hold 1. And I would like to ask how the 3 of you spend your first hold as this wave is like smashing into you. Or your 1 hold if you're BBW. We'll say that to give you options, there are 4 from the first one that open up hands and fire off shots towards the group of you, but at Blood, and the rest are just like rushing forward. They're about to hit Carl, basically.
I would like to provide Carl an opening. So Carl gets +1 to their next action.
How do you?
I'm gonna spend one of my holds. I'm going to, because I've got Mr. Blood, so I don't. I mean, I think what I maybe makes sense is that I can draw their attention a little bit by sort of running down the path away from the general crowd, and just sort of Mr. Blood can keep watching, and I can get him slightly further away from the wave of enemies.
Okay, draw their attention and
then maybe
them up.
they'll draw their attention that way. Yeah.
Opening them up, Carl Cookie, or sorry, BBW Cookie.
I think I'm also going to. Can I give an additional +1 or a +1 to a different enemy? Since
it's to the ally rather than the enemy.
Well, an ally, like +1 to an ally on a different enemy. I mean,
gotcha.
I would imagine doing it by like maybe blocking one of their laser shots with my walk and like shooting it back into him and making him stumble a little bit.
Like the knee trick that you just learned from the previous guy.
Okay. I like the flavor of that and what that provides. That feels a little heavier than maybe one of these options, because there are bullets coming in. So in order maybe to make that happen, maybe you'll take half damage from the bullet that you are touching to make this happen. I may be adding a little bit more onto it because I'm allowing Slippy's thing to sort of draw all their attention, giving Carl the opening since he is carrying blood. So if you want to give Carl an extra opening maybe on this particular enemy to do this.
If Slippy has gotten all of their attention, then I think I'm gonna try and deal damage instead to the attacker.
Okay.
I'd like to do that
just
as
deal
well.
3 damage.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like the flavor of that. Like as one has broken through the line by Carl, you're spinning around and smashing it with the walk. And with the damage that Carl has done, you hit that one and it kind of goes into pieces. BBW, what about yours?
Gotta deal the 2 damage to the one trying to attack.
Okay,
the
yeah,
wall.
yeah. I mean, I think that like story-wise, that's very solid. Slippy just sort of starts picking up blood and like high stepping down the little path, and the ones that have broken by Carl immediately. Slippy Cookie and BBW are atop of, smashing into pieces. There are still a large amount coming out of the crowd, you know, sort of swirling past you. Slippy, even as you're running, you can see some beginning to form up in front of you. Up near the doors leading down into this area, from the, you know, the top sort of arena doors leading to the seating, you can see bodyguards there, and they have guns, but they're not trying to like fire loosely into the crowd, which has begun panicking at the nearby crowd. The closest crowd has begun sort of panicking at the action going on up here.
Yeah, I think I would just like to maybe do my best to make it past the ones that are appearing in front of me to get to the bodyguards, maybe.
Yeah, do you have a use of defend on that? Because you have 2 more defend
Yeah,
modes.
I can just I think Mr. Blood's gonna have to get Mr. Blood has to be punished for his hubris. I'm just gonna have the damage to the next attack that hits Mr. Blood.
Okay, yeah, the first group that makes contact with you, there's a swipe down, and you're able to deflect most of it, but the end of the blade nicks blood, and some blood is drawn across his white suit, and he doesn't seem to love that. Cookie, BBW, Carl, you see there's a decent-sized group of robots right in front of Slippy. He's trying to like shimmy his way past them, but they're like closing in around him. What do the 3 of you do? There's robots all around. There could be attacks coming in at you, you could imagine. There are attacks like there's just robots sprinting past you to try to get to Slippy and Mr. Blood. There's like chaos going on.
Trying to think of a way to help Slippy, but I'm not sure that any of the defend options are really going to do that.
Your initial defend roll was on Blood. If you made a new defend roll on Slippy, you could defend Slippy.
I'll do that then. It's gonna be 8 to defend him.
Okay, what's your
I'm
hold?
gonna redirect the attack to myself.
Okay, there is, like I said, there's some that have broken by and are beginning to like sprint by you with arm blades like extended, trying to get to Slippy. And BBW, you dive in front of one as it begins to close in on Slippy. It like breaks down and goes into like a spear jump towards Slippy, and you jump in front of the way of that, deflecting it away from Slippy, but taking 2 points of damage in the meantime, so maybe none.
Thank you, sweet prince.
And that one's deflected off into the crowd. It's trying to get up.
I'll protect you, Slippy. Keep him safe.
Please do, God. Oh, God.
I'm going to use my remaining 2 holds just to deal more damage. Just sort of flail about with the walk in the robots everywhere, and move to follow Slippy and Blood, and follow the action.
Yeah, Carl.
I guess I'm gonna. Are there any close enough to slash at before I move on towards Slippy and Blood?
They're all over the place.
So they were almost. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a swipe at one of them before booking it towards them. That is a 6 marking experience. One away from level
Carl,
5.
you go to swipe at one running by you, and it stops on a dime, and you swipe at the air just right in front of it, and it turns and tackles you to the ground, and 2 more pile atop of Carl. And Carl is just sort of pinned underneath the 3 of these, and their arms are coming up. I think at first you take 2 points of damage, whatever that is for you, as their blades are coming in and probably bouncing off of your armor, I imagine. But they're like punching in. Excuse me, the 3 of these. Cookie, you're flailing about wildly, taking out robot after robot. It's more than just the 2 of these holds. You're swinging and just like keeping them down, and eventually they're starting to overtake you. BBW, you are on the ground. This robot is getting up, and you're trying to like get up to push it back off of Slippy, and Slippy in front of you. 5 of these robots are beginning to pile up atop of you. They're beginning to close out the path in front of you. And as you feel their cold metal approaching, like they're like pressing in upon you, all of a sudden there is a roar from the audience. It erupts into an uproarious cheer and applause, and you hear Mr. Blood go, "Oh, yes! Oh, yes!" And he crouches down. He's like punching. He's like, "Yes!" Immediately, the robots stop and begin one by one falling into heaps on the ground around in the audience, and you can see it like them falling all over on the level that you're in.
Slippy does the same.
And you, Carl, pull yourself out from the pile of loose machinery atop you. The security guards are starting to get near you, pulling you out. What are your what are your initial responses to what is going on?
Slippy stands up and says, "Hey, does anybody know what the Pharaoh's Eye is?"
Maybe that was good to go. One of those like noisemakers. Like, we won.
Cookie's gonna come to Mr. Blood and be like, "What in the hell was that?"
I won! Bloodstream won! That's the whole point we came here for. That's why the crowd's going so wild, because my horse won the race. He's just so cheerful right now. He's not even worried about the gash on his arm.
I want to give him my party hat.
Puts it on right away. It's like, this is one of the best wins that Bloodstream has ever had.
Very happy for you, Mr. Blood.
You folks
so
are
exciting.
doing a
Really glad
loose
you could-
scan,
you
of
could share
course,
this
about the crowd. You look up, you see Carla Dean standing at her window, shaking her head in disappointment. You peek back up.
I flip her off with two
to
fingers.
The blood box. You see pushed up against a wall, supporting herself, is Carissa. She's looking down at the 4 of you. Slippy, you make eye contact with Carissa for a brief moment, and she she smiles and puts one of her arms to her head and puts it out like a salute, and turns around and
Slippy shouts, "What does that mean? Are we on or off again?"
into the smoke coming out of Blood's box, and
we're off again, but not for long.
Off again, but not for long.
We always get back together.
And Blood is ecstatic. The security guards help you up and into a safe area of the arena, but Blood says the whole time that you folks are being led to this secure area, he's like, "There's no need for that. The race is over. The race is over. My life's not in any danger anymore."
Why?
More.
What's the purpose? What's the purpose of taking me out after I've won all that money? They still got to pay the money.
Oh, they wouldn't have to pay the money if you were dead before the race was over?
No.
It's a flawed system.
I don't know. That's the system that was set in place for me to bet upon.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you won.
Yeah, this is a pretty cut. I mean, you think this is a pretty cutthroat system. Explosions.
Oh, really?
I mean, explosions going off up here, and the crowd is still just watching a horse race that is still continuing.
Yeah, the lack of reaction was harrowing.
Well, people here like their races, and they seem to be important to the money flow of this city. The Penguin checks over the security. It's a few hours, and you folks are released from the secure area of the racetrack and find yourselves out in front with Mr. Blood. He says, "That was a mighty fine mission. I gotta say, the race, we absolutely crushed it. And I think that I'm gonna give each of you a little off the top on that one, because you guys did an extra special job." And he
Great, I really need a haircut.
hands you each
Thank you, Mr. Blood.
150 credits and
Holy
says,
shit. Is that a lot? I feel like that's
trust.
That's more than I've ever had in this game.
Yeah, for the extra special hard mission last time, you were offered 100 credits anyway in the end. This one was 60 plus whatever tip.
Yeah, I had 6 before this, so this is great.
Yeah,
it's a
15.
bit, and he says, I do hope that if I ever need some bodyguards again for another mission, that I could maybe reach out to you folks personally. We can avoid the whole rigmarole of the military system.
Of course, Mr. Blood.
We'll
And
pay and all the information beforehand.
and don't
Okay.
just don't invite anybody like Carissa. She's always trying to do this sort of like money from the rich old guy thing. Not that you're that old, but you know, you just gotta watch
How am I
out for it.
supposed to
It's
know
so
that?
dangerous.
She's been a companion of mine for quite some time.
That's the way that she does it. She just you know, and then you let your guard down. She does it all the time.
What? Okay. Okay, and you
Just
you
watch
hear
out for that
you hear a
character,
beep on his
that type of person.
his communicator, and it says,
Mr. Blood, it's Carissa. If you're with Carissa, you gotta be careful. We checked her room. It's filled with robots. Mr. Blood.
He goes, you can calm down. You can calm down. We already took care of the situation. Just make sure you lock her room down pretty tight, and we'll take care of it when I get up there. And an Uber Black pulls up, and he says, "You folks heading back to the hotel?"
Yeah, I guess.
And you're.
Dude, can you buy us another room, Mr. Blood, so we can have a little vacation, maybe? Since we did such a good special job for your special little boys.
I'm sure I can extend the reservation on the rooms for another night or two.
Thank you.
Well, I guess if we have a couple of days, I just wanted to go back to. I feel like I had some sort of standing something with someone in the market. I was going to go pick up rare tech, but if I don't have to do it right now, then I don't need to do it right now. If we've got a couple more days.
Your guys' departure from this planet is entirely up to you. The mission is technically over once he leaves. He's paid you, but technically the mission isn't over until he leaves planet. So you folks go back to the hotel. He gets onto his elevator and says, I got a mighty fine feast awaiting for my victory at the races. If you four would enjoy a fine meal tonight.
Yes,
What are the
please.
odds of us getting attacked during the meal?
Well, I would have said 0 to all of our meals this time, but you can see how well my powers of deduction have worked for this one, so 0. And he kind of winks at you.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Let's
Can
get
I
some
sit?
food.
Can I sit next to you, Mr. Blood? Can I be your companion for at least night?
Of course. And you, well, hold on. Hold on. Of course you can. I need a replacement for that Carissa woman. You'll do mighty fine.
I'll be your arm
tonight,
candy.
What'd she call you, Tombleson?
Yeah, that's my name.
All right then, Tombleson. And you four go up and you share a feast.
But you can call me Mr. President.
All right, Thompson. And you folks share a feast of a meal. At some point in the evening, Mr. Blood heads up to the roof with you and gets onto a pod with several of his staff and heads back up into the atmosphere, officially ending the mission. He says, I'm certain that we will speak in the future if I ever need some bodyguards. And the door closes.
Or if you ever want a companion, Mr. Blood, I'm currently off again.
Or if you ever need
Slippy's-
any sort of party,
I got
birthday,
Or if you need
Any sort of
many
birthday.
people shot at the same time.
Is there anything you can what if I need them drinks that you made, Cookie? I only said because all of your party offered me things, and
I still
I
feel
don't like you, Mr. Blood.
I still feel like we weren't given all of the requisite information we needed for this mission. So, like I said, double pay or don't call me.
you're a hard nut to crack, Cookie. But I'm sure that we'll get along in the future. I've got plenty more jobs that might benefit workers of your caliber. And he gets onto a ship, and like I said, it disappears into the atmosphere. You folks return down to your rooms, finishing up what is maybe left of the feast and sharing some takes on the evening in general. And when you wake up let's hear some of these takes. How do your characters feel coming back down into the room Mr. Blood finally gone.
Slippy, I think, is gonna go and tell Lucy about the adventure and about why she needs to watch out for devious, mischievous, conniving, superlative, etc. people.
Maybe
You're
because
gonna, you're gonna include the part about Chris's arms being chopped off?
Well, that's at the end, and Slippy ends it with, and anyway, that is how I learned that much like Carissa's hands, we are currently off again. And then the camera fades on Slippy and Lucy for this episode.
BBW is going to tinker with his tools and just spend time repairing everything and talk to his little special energy shield he promised to use properly.
It shows
But
appreciation
not
for the use that it has
delete.
received so far. It mostly is just showing appreciation for the connection that you've made with it. It's less that it's being used and getting hit, but more that you're like connecting with it as a personality, and it is appreciating that. So it's still, it's still on board. You're the only one with a temperamental energy shield, so I like that. Cookie Carl, any approaches to the end of this evening?
I'm gonna check in with the bellhops now that we're back at the Peacock. Make sure that everything is set for transporting the mother cradle aboard the ship. Yeah.
Have you told us about that?
No.
I didn't think so.
There's not been a good moment to.
I was just curious. I was trying to remember where we were at with that.
It's not like I'm trying to hide it, but also I haven't mentioned it.
Oh yeah, I'm not fussed.
The bellhops. The moment you speak to them, that level of honorific has returned. I think with your interactions now, you're able to put at least those two and two together that was yet another set of this. Like, they're all different, so those set have no connection to you as this set does. But they tell you that the plan is on. When you are ready to take off, let them know. And by the time that you get down there, the mother cradle should be in final preparations for going dormant for a transplant.
How much room is needed to transport the mother cradle? Like, will it fit in a barrel or a suitcase?
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Is there just a huge galactic formation sitting in our?
Is it going to be
cargo
offended?
hold?
Is it going to be offended if we take it in a bread box? Is that going to be rude?
It told you initially that when it goes dormant, it's going to go pretty small and be very light. You're going to be able to carry it totally fine. During the process, it will be a pretty lengthy process of it waking back up in its new sort of shell. Imagine like shedding, right? And during that process, it will be expanding and contracting pretty greatly. I think you've had a lot of this conversation with it already. I think that it had alluded to a size nearly of your like the cargo bay of your ship, just to be safe. But it will be expanding and contracting after a small amount of time, so you'll need to get out of there. Like, this is last step before you're basically leaving planet, it has suggested.
All right. Well, then we'll go with that, and I'll solve whatever problems I can when they crop up.
As always.
Guess I'll have a lot of explaining to do when we get to the ship.
We'll cross that bridge when I come on it.
Hey, Cookie. Why is there a galaxy in our cargo hold?
What's all these black bug creatures coming out of it? Carl?
Oh, Aurora Borealis?
Why is it calling you Bay?
Carl would like to take a moment to relax his brain and slowly reload his ammo canisters and tinker with his zap and slice, since it's a little busted, and just kind of it's been a while since he's been able to tender his arsenal, because like we've had a lot of battles, and so especially because one of the things about the signature weapon is he keeps it like meticulously clean, so like it's very kind of ritualistic cleaning thing going on.
Yeah, cleaning and maintenance for the evening. You folks See, you folks die down in your separate manners, just sort of intaking the evening, and the evening draws to a close. All of you in your separate rooms for the night. You wake up. There is a platter sitting on each of your dining room tables. And as you approach and pull the lid off of the platter, there's a folded up sheet of paper with some documents in it, and each of them say the same thing. They are tickets paid in full for the heist tower. They are scheduled for this afternoon for your slot in the heist tower. And there's a little note from Mr. Blood that says, "Now, I've been all over this city. The only place that I'd think that you might be able to find anything similar to whatever you had said, the Pharaoh's Eye, I think it was, this would be the place. Mr. B."
Guys, we got an escape room. Mr. Blood sent us an escape room. How much do you think we could get for this ticket?
I'm gonna
You think we could break the record?
sell the ticket.